The moment Leanne Morgan strutted onto Kelly Clarkson's stage, the room buzzed with that warm, fizzy excitement she always carried with her, like someone had opened a bottle of sweet southern soda and let the bubbles fill the room. The audience cheered wildly, many of them already bent over laughing before Leanne even said a word. Kelly greeted her with a big grin and an even bigger hug, the kind she seemed to give everybody, but the second they pulled apart, something flickered across Leanne's face. A tightening, a little crackle in her smile. Kelly didn't miss it, the audience didn't either. It was the kind of spark that meant trouble, or comedy gold, depending on how the wind blew. At first, everything seemed fine. Leanne eased into her chair, slowly, carefully, before launching into her usual bits about aging hips, stubborn husbands, and grandbabies who refused to let her drink her coffee in peace. Kelly nearly fell off her own chair from laughing, clutching her stomach the way she always did when something genuinely got her. But every time Leanne shifted even a millimeter, her chair made a suspicious squeak. Leanne shot it a look every single time, the kind of look Southern women use when deciding between forgiveness and homicide. Still, the tension stayed soft, until Kelly, in classic Kelly fashion, asked a question with a smile so innocent it could have been knitted from clouds. "So, Leanne," she said, swinging her legs playfully, "I heard you told your team you'd never come back on this show unless we fixed the chairs from wobbling last time." The crowd laughed like she'd cracked the world's cutest joke. But Leanne leaned forward with the slow, deliberate intensity of a woman about to issue a warning. Her fingers interlaced, her drawl thickened like warm syrup. "Well, Kelly, honey," she said sweetly, "if y'all had chairs that didn't feel like they were built by a toddler with a glue gun, I wouldn't have nearly fallen on national television." The audience gasped. Kelly blinked, twice. The producers probably leaned forward in their control room, heads snapping toward the monitors. Kelly tried to turn it back into a joke, bless her heart. Okay, but we fixed him this time. I swear. Go ahead, do a little test rock." Leanne gave the chair a gentle rock, and the chair responded with a long, pitiful squeak. She froze, eyes widened, lips parted with triumphant disbelief. "See," she exploded, pointing dramatically at the chair like it was a criminal caught red-handed. "I told everybody. Y'all got me out here risking a fractured tailbone for daytime entertainment." The audience howled. Kelly covered her face, laughing but also clearly wondering whether she should call a commercial break. Leanne lifted her chin. "Kelly, baby, this is OSHA-level dangerous. I am a grown woman. I've lived through childbirth, menopause, and a husband who thinks cleaning up means moving things into slightly different piles. I can handle a lot. But this," she slapped the armrest, "this is how people end up in full-body casts." Kelly forced a laugh to keep things light. "Leanne, it's not that serious." "Oh, but it is," Leanne shot back, dramatic as a soap opera villain. "And then, in the green room, they told me to keep it short today because you had a musical guest after me who needed more time." Kelly nodded slowly. "Well, yeah," Leanne put a hand to her chest like she was deeply offended. "Kelly, I am funnier than that boy with the piano. He's 14, Kelly said. Leanne didn't miss a beat. "And he'll recover. Kids bounce." The audience roared so loud the stage floor vibrated. Kelly looked directly into the camera, silently begging America to understand that this was not, in fact, how the morning was supposed to go. Leanne leaned back, well, as far as she trusted the chair to let her, then flipped her hair with enough force to stir the air like a storm brewing. "I drove across the country for this. I canceled a hair appointment. I wore full-body Spanx. Do you know what that does to a woman's soul? And y'all are telling me, oh, Leanne, keep it tight, we gotta squeeze in a prodigy. Honey, I am the prodigy." Kelly laughed, but the laugh had a shrill little panic to it. Leanne went on, voice rising with that perfect mix of comedy and real, unfiltered irritation. "And for what? So I can sit here perched on a death trap squeaking like a haunted swing set?" The audience was losing their minds. Kelly looked like she needed a paper bag to breathe into. Leanne, entirely unfazed, sat tall, well, tall-ish, and declared, "I oughta demand hazard pay." And just like that, nobody could tell anymore whether Leanne was joking, serious, or both. But one thing was clear. She had no intention of calming down anytime soon. When the cameras came back from the break, Kelly Clarkson smiled so wide it almost looked painful, like someone backstage had told her, "Just hold it together for 12 more minutes." The audience looked restless in the best possible way, leaning forward as if bracing for the next eruption. And there sat Leanne Morgan, arms crossed, chin lifted, bouncing one leg with the rhythm of a woman who had absolutely not cooled down. Kelly inhaled gently, as though easing into a dark room where something might jump out. "So," she began, "your new tour." Leanne cut her off with a sigh so dramatic it echoed. "Kelly, before we get into all that tour business, honey, I need to address something." Kelly's face drained like someone had unplugged her emotions. "Oh, no, oh yes." Leanne uncrossed her arms and turned toward the audience like she was on the verge of testifying in court. "I went backstage during that break, and y'all, they tried to fix my chair with duct tape." The gasp that rolled through the studio sounded like a wave crashing. Kelly slapped her hand on her knee. "Okay, that cannot be true." "Oh, it's true," Leanne insisted, raising a single finger. "I walked back there, and two big old grown men, Kelly, were huddled around my chair, fighting with a roll of silver duct tape like they were trying to patch up the Titanic." The audience erupted. Kelly bent over, laughing so hard her hair fell in her face. "And I said," Leanne continued, turning up her southern drawl, "boys, what in the dollar store DIY project do y'all think you're doing?" And you know what they told me? "We only need it to last 15 more minutes. 15 minutes, she threw her hands up. "That is not a chair, that is a temporary life support system for my behind." Kelly wheezed. "Oh my God." "And then," Leanne said, warming up like an engine ready for a long road trip, "I see the producer holding this little tool. I don't know what it was, but he starts tightening things under the seat like he's a pit crew at NASCAR. I said, 'Sir, I need a stable surface to sit on.' Not a prayer." The audience was now officially unhinged, laughter rolling in waves. Kelly tried to regain control. Okay, look, Leanne, we'll replace the chairs. All of them. I'll walk into IKEA myself. I'll assemble them. I'll use the tiny little Allen wrench and everything." Leanne paused, letting Kelly's desperation breathe in the air. Then she lowered her voice, soft but dramatic. "Well, all right, but I gotta tell you, Kelly, y'all put me through something today. I've been through childbirth, orthodontics, and my husband's colonoscopy prep, but this right here, this may be the most traumatic." Kelly was laughing so hard tears streamed down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry, I truly am." For a second there, Leanne added, pressing a hand to her heart, "I thought I was gonna leave this show in an ambulance." Imagine the headline: "Leanne Morgan, comedian and grandmother, taken down by weak furniture. My legacy destroyed." The audience burst again, clapping and hollering. Kelly wiped her eyes, leaning back. "You're killing me." "Not as much as that chair almost did," Leanne snapped, but her lips curled into the tiniest smile. Kelly inhaled and tried to pivot again. Okay, your tour. Let's talk about your new tour, Grace and Sass." "Oh, we'll talk about it," Leanne said, waving a hand. "But first, I want that boy's extra 15 minutes. Kelly blinked. "The piano kid, you want his performance slot?" Leanne shrugged calmly. "Of course, he's young, his bones are fresh, he can handle the disappointment. I'll send him a cupcake. Maybe a note." The audience screamed with laughter. Kelly shook her head at the camera as if America were sitting in her living room. "I can't believe this. I genuinely cannot believe this is happening." Leanne nodded slowly. "You shouldn't be surprised. I warned you about these chairs last time." Kelly held up her hands. "All right, fine. You get the time. You get the whole 15 minutes. I will personally walk that kid off stage and explain it." Leanne sat taller. Well, as tall as the duct-taped chair allowed. "Thank you. Finally, justice." Kelly laughed, but it came out like the sound of someone who had surrendered their fate. "Is there anything else I can offer you while we're here? Snacks? A foot massage? A throne?" "Well," Leanne said thoughtfully, looking around, "I wouldn't mind a cushion." The audience exploded. Kelly threw her arms in the air. "Somebody bring this woman a cushion before she starts a revolution." A stagehand rushed over with a pillow like they were delivering an Olympic torch. Leanne accepted it with regal grace. "Oh, this is nice," she said, settling into the newly cushioned, crudely repaired chair. "Now we can talk about the tour." Kelly, shoulders slumping in relief, breathed out, "Praise Jesus." Leanne leaned over, finally satisfied, and whispered, "See, I'm not mad at you. I'm just passionate. There's a difference." Kelly pressed a hand to her chest. "I will remember that forever." The audience rose to their feet, clapping and cheering like they'd witnessed a Broadway show, a wrestling match, and a family reunion argument all in one episode. As the cameras faded out, Kelly muttered into her mic, "We're getting new chairs tomorrow." Leanne, triumphant, grinned at the crowd. "And I didn't even fall today." The studio erupted one last time. And somewhere backstage, a roll of duct tape quietly retired from show business forever.